Welcome to the High Caliber Podcast, episode 2, on this September 13th.
Not Friday.
That's funny shit, Fish. No, like a second ago, you were sitting with your finger under your glass sling like this, and I have season tickets to Colts, and for the last 10 years, this dude that sits in front of me does that shit with his finger and has it under his glass rim and holds his eye up. But literally, he's been doing it for so long, when he lets his finger down, his eyebrow stays like that.
That's fucked up.
It's fucking crazy. His eyebrow right here is stuck straight up. It's fucking hysterical. But so welcome to our podcast. Did you give the date? You did. September 13th.
Yeah. It's like the first thing I did.
So we got a few things on the kind of agenda, I guess, to talk about. Nothing
just a few
spectacular.
Topics, over the last week, what we've done.
Just to try to wake Fish up a little bit here. Well, I guess we should introduce ourselves again. I'm Tim.
I'm Deshaun.
Fish.
And so
Fish Declees the Great.
Fish hasn't seen this picture yet, so let me show it to him here.
Which one is it?
Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah.
So I have a picture of Stevie Wonder that I found from an ad in the 1980s that I found fucking hysterical, and Deshaun found it pretty funny too. So this will be Fish's first shot.
This plays great for radio. So he had the instant reaction idea when you first see.
So everybody out there that can't see this is would you call this a monochrome ad? It's just basically like brown and black.
It's like it's just two coat, yeah.
It's an actual ad for the Atari 2600 from probably like the early 1980s. Looks like 1981 copyright on the bottom of it maybe. And I'm not kidding you. It has Stevie Wonder wearing like a checkered button-up shirt with a vest on, a hat, and sunglasses. And he is holding an Atari controller. And I hate to say it, but I guess it doesn't matter how you hold it. But to me, he's holding it backwards. But it literally says on here, if I could play video games, you bet it would be Atari. Like I said, that to me, even at the bottom here, if you look, Fish, look at the very bottom paragraph, the first sentence. Can you read it?
Hold on. Where?
Read it out loud.
You don't need two people to play with an Atari 2600 or even two eyes.
That to me is almost insulting.
That's what I mean. That's what my question was going to be. Is this making fun of handicapped people?
It must be. It's making fun of Stevie Wonder.
I mean, Stevie Wonder clearly got paid for that.
Yeah.
And didn't have a problem doing it, didn't seem like. He got a big smile on his face thinking about the cash.
Also, you were right. His Atari was totally upside down.
But he had the controller backwards.
He
was holding the button
bottom
towards him instead of away, which I guess it doesn't really matter. It's in a corner. Whatever's more convenient. If you're left-handed, you probably would have used the left one, so maybe you would hold it like that. But
button up top always.
But that's my opinion. Because mostly because the wire came out where the button was.
I'm sure.
So if you had it the other way, the wire would be facing you, so it'd make the cord shorter, and you wouldn't be able to put it up against you because you'd be bending the wire.
I'm sure Atari wouldn't okay an ad where the guy advertising it is holding the fucking controller wrong, like on purpose. Like I'm sure the whole joke was, I can't play video games because I'm fucking blind, you know.
Well, they were like, "Hey, Steve, nah, never mind, dude. He's fucking blind."
Right, yeah. Just don't even worry about it.
Give him a braille controller.
They turn it up. It's like, I don't know what up is. What direction is that? Oh wait,
oh, shit.
I don't know directions.
So that's how we'll start. I feel like I said Fish was dozing a little earlier, so we thought we'd do that, give him a little wake up.
Yeah, he's still recovering from his little nap he had earlier from watching the greatest movie of all time. Yeah,
we the three of us watched 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick at the IMAX Theater in the Indiana State Museum in downtown Indianapolis. The theater's great. Visuals were great. I hadn't seen that movie in probably 20 years, and man, I forgot how fucking slow that movie is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that shit just drug. And I get that it's supposed to kind of, make you feel like you're in space and everything goes slow, but for crying out loud, somebody shoot the guy that edited that movie.
That movie is truly like my greatest fear with watching like really long movies. And it's why I don't like to watch really long movies, because at some point I know I'm going to be bored as fuck. And that movie is just me being bored as fuck to the entire thing.
It's not even really that long. It's
It's only like 241.
It's like, well, not even that. It's like 225 or something. After if you take away the 10-minute intermission and the overture, and then the 4 minutes at the end of the credits, and the 2.5 minute like overtures. That's the 9 minutes right there. Plus 8-minute intermission. You're at 17 minutes, and it's only like 241 with that. But so it's the 220's a fairly long movie, but it's not like what I would call like an epic long movie like The Hobbit.
It's
or Lord of the Rings, shit like that. But anything over like 2.5 hours, I consider like a long movie.
It definitely felt needlessly long.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels longer than it is. But I think the intermission was just to wake people up. But I couldn't figure out why they had the thing in the first place.
I mean, I needed to pee, so.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like you're asleep, but. As far as like long movies and shit, it's not really like something that you just gotta go. But
kind of just to watch the movie and go.
Yeah, but it was slow. Like I said, visually it was nice. The fact that it's on film, and
I definitely think there was like a lot of the shots were better early on than they were during a lot of the later stuff.
I think they got bored with it too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, like they were like, all right.
But
you think?
But there were just so many like inaccuracies when it comes to like
space
shit going on in space. Go ahead, Fish.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, you think George Lucas had any inspiration from that?
It was 1968. I doubt it.
Wasn't it?
You doubt it?
Around the same time.
Of what?
When did the original Star Wars movies come out?
77. Almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
So I doubt. Lucas was probably a teenager in '68.
Hey, there we go.
But Kubrick was. He always did strange stuff.
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange. You fake the moon landings.
Apparently, that's becoming more and more likely, I guess.
Just good space shit, I guess. Can't think of anything else Kubrick did. I should be able to know. I should know more than.
He also did The Shining.
Born in 44, so he was 24 in 68. So
he's my age, shit.
But
he's 40. Wait.
He was born in 44.
Oh, okay.
So 68 minus 44 is 24. But yeah, there's the scene when they first get to Dave and was it Frank, I think, or on the ship that's going to Jupiter. And the very first scene has Frank running. He's jogging.
Spoilers if you haven't seen 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, the first 30 years.
40-year-old movie or whatever the fuck.
No, this will be the 50th anniversary.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's even older than that. God damn.
It's the 50th anniversary. That's why it's out.
Spoilers for this 50-year-old movie.
But he's jogging through the part that's spinning to not produce, but make fake gravity or whatever, and not fake gravity, but to make gravity. And so, but the problem is that he's running in it in a big circle, and so he's running, not only on the floor but on the wall and the ceiling and all the way around 360 degrees. And then a couple minutes later, it shows this dude just sitting on a couch next to the track he's running on.
Yeah.
So I'm well, so do they have gravity or not? Because if they have gravity, and that's why the thing is spinning, then why is he able to run on the walls and the ceiling?
Maybe it was spinning.
But if they don't have gravity, then why in the fuck is the dude on the couch not floating?
Maybe it's because the gravity is just light enough for him to do that, but it was still heavy enough for the dude to kind of lock himself in his seat and not worry about going nowhere.
I'm not buying it.
As long as he doesn't move.
I'm not buying it.
I think Mr. Kubrick might have been on a couple of choice drugs.
Because early in the movie, they made a point each time somebody was walking in sticky shoes.
Yeah.
To show the shoes and that they were walking in shoes that were giving them the gravity.
It was to walk in
everything. But then he's just jogging, and he's clearly wearing tennis shoes because you see the soles of his shoes and they're just yellow rubber. So, but again, it was 1968. He wasn't making it for that shit, but just a lot of little discrepancies with that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's not stuff like that really detracted from the movie. It was some of the bigger stuff.
Yeah. Of course, a couple explosions are okay, so no explosions in space, but lack of oxygen. No oxygen, no fire. But every movie does
artistic
that.
license.
I mean, everybody does that. I mean, how many movies have you? What space movie have you seen where something just imploded and that didn't have any kind of fire?
I don't even think people would even know how to show that, like an explosion with no fiery effect to it or anything, no smoke, you know, because it would all just be sucked out into the vacuum of space.
You just blow shit.
Shit
up.
would just
blow shit up with air.
Yeah.
Just blow shit apart with air, but then you got to actually blow shit apart.
Right,
but you could just do it, you know, CG like everything else. But
make it look like shit.
But overall, I enjoyed the experience. It's nice to be able to say that I saw that movie in IMAX film, which, you know, there's only like 5 or 6 prints in the whole country or world probably. So
it's a shame we had to share it with a bunch of fucking hipsters, but
oh my god, yeah. But
they were quiet at least.
Yeah, they weren't making too much noise, but except for the ones behind us that sound like they brought an entire like shopping cart in plastic bags with them.
I heard that.
But and then the doofus I had to get on his shit about making me get up twice. Yeah. But you notice he sat behind us after that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not making that guy get up again. Doofus. But enjoyable. Like I said, I liked seeing it. We also got to get the Millennium Falcon torn down and brought home.
Finally
so that worked out. So I gotta know what I want to do with that if it works.
Yeah.
I want to cut the wings off of it, not the wings, but the outer edges. Actually, I want it to fit between the speakers, but I want to cut the bottom middle of it out and like put like the fireplace in it. Put it right there against the wall below the screen, and cut the middle of it out and slide the fireplace in there. I just got to find a place for the center channel.
Yeah, I'm sure Chewie and Han had many a night just chilling in front of the fireplace.
What the fuck else am I gonna do with it? I can't put it there and not cut a hole in it for the fireplace, and I have no place to put the fireplace.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we're
talking about we had the theater downtown had a Millennium Falcon standee from the Solo movie, and I brought home the cockpit from it, or the control panel, or whatever you want to call it. But it took forever to get it home, and now I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with it. But
recycle it.
I'm gonna use it. If I'm gonna recycle, I would have left the shit there. But Fish, anything you wanted to discuss?
Well, like I was telling you, I saw Jim and Andy on Netflix. The great Andy Kaufman kind of, I guess, salutes Jim Carrey's version of Andy Kaufman.
Now, is that about the making of the movie Man on the Moon?
It was kind of partially a little bit of the making, and mostly, honestly, kind of like a biopic of Jim Carrey's portrayal and kind of Jim Carrey's connection to his own life, because Andy Kaufman was a big role model of his.
So it was about him playing a guy who was playing another guy.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. Because Andy Kaufman had a couple characters.
Is it the inception of biopic movies?
Sure.
The inception. It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
How old is that? The Jim and Andy. Do you know what year it came out?
It came out last year, I believe.
Was it?
Inception came out in like 2008.
Man on the Moon came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or was it 2012? When did Inception come out?
It's a great REM song.
Man on the
Jim
Moon.
Carrey. I don't really fuck with Jim Carrey.
I'm interested in Just Kidding. You seen that?
Oh, the one where he's like a kid show host?
Yeah, but mostly about his life outside of that.
Yeah.
Where he's like a Mr. Rogers, but outside of his life is just all kinds of fucked up, it looks like. But anyway.
Maybe.
So, did you enjoy Jim and Andy?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. It was just crazy how much he got into the role of Andy Kaufman. Like I said, Andy Kaufman's whole family, wanted to meet him because he was so close to Andy, and they were like crying, hugging him, and he wanted the whole crew to call him Andy. And
well, a lot of actors I think do that kind of thing where they method acting, where they like get into character and just absolutely won't leave it.
Oh, it was.
But I can't remember who it is because somebody does it to like a fault. Sometimes.
Angelina Jolie does it to the point where she's like a bitch to everybody, but apparently she also buys them like dinner afterwards. So
I know Heath Ledger does it.
Did it, yeah.
Christian Bale is a really good method actor.
He'll tear his fucking body apart doing that shit.
Yeah.
He'll go from being like like crazy skinny underweight for the Machinist to like being super ripped for Dark Knight Rises.
See, one thing I gotta say is
ripped, but buff, I guess, or muscle, not muscle.
I haven't been a big Tom Cruise fan in a while, but I gotta give the man the props for the fact that he still does his own stunts.
Yeah.
And like I haven't seen all of the new Mission Impossible. I've heard it's really good, and I'd kind of like to, even though he is in it. But a couple of the things I saw that he was doing, it was just like, that is insane.
Yeah.
And he's like, is he like 60? Is it 62 or like 56?
Oh, Jesus, he's up there. He's kind of older. He's like surprisingly old. I think he's like 52 maybe.
It's like I said 62, but I think 52 maybe right. I think 62 is a little old. But then again, him only being 9 years older than me doesn't seem right either.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was like 10 or 12 when like Top Gun came out, and he had to be like fucking.
I usually feel that way about a lot of actors.
56.
56, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So close. Close.
Well, I say 56 or 62.
Yeah.
I don't know where the 62 came from.
There's probably another actor that's 62. We don't know about.
Something, yeah. But
like,
so,
I used to think I was like a lot younger than some actors, and now I found out they're only like a year or two older than me. There'd be like Disney stars and shit, or like people on like Nickelodeon.
That's how I usually gauge like time periods and shit like that. It's like think about like the actors and how much older they were than me, and like when a movie came out. And
I can't think about that shit because that shit.
I can base just about everything in my life off a movie at some point.
Yeah.
You know, like a time frame.
I don't really have that. I don't think.
But I've been around him for a while, so I've seen a few movies. I like movies. But
I don't.
No, he dislikes most movies he sees. Agreed.
The movie wasn't drawn by somebody's hands in a 2D animation.
Although, you know.
You know what? Not every movie is a hentai fan fiction erotic novels.
Hey man.
They
could all strive
be
to
fucking
be
people with tentacle
they
monsters.
can't. You're right. Not everything can be perfect.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen my share of tentacle porn. Not the real shit though. That shit is dumb.
The live action stuff.
Well, like trying to do the live action shit. Yeah, it's like dudes like the sticks and shit.
Like,
what the fuck?
Stupid ass tubes. It's like
that fucking Jim Henson back there with the fucking
Jim Henson.
fucking tentacle monster and shit. What the fuck?
Jim Henson presents tentacle fuck 5.
No, because if Jim Henson would have done it, would have fucking looked way better than that shit. But
speaking of Jim Henson, are you interested in the Happy Time Murders at all? It's by his son.
I am, because to a point. But the problem is that I'm not at all a Melissa McCarthy fan.
Yeah, like.
And she in it? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if I don't know enough about it to know if she's like one of the main characters. I mean, she's the main character, but I don't know how much she's in it. If it's more her than the Muppets, because if it's like 50-50 or more Muppets, I could probably tolerate it. But if it's like 60 her, 40 Muppets, it's like I couldn't do it.
Apparently, it's based.
It's something I'll watch once it's like Redbox or free or something like that on cable. But
apparently, it's based on like the original script for Roger Rabbit or whatever. Not Roger Rabbit. Who framed
Roger Rabbit?
Who framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
People know what you're talking about when you say Roger Rabbit, but
yeah.
Well, because like some of their very original Muppet stuff was adult, not like porn adult, but like they used language and it was just more like adult humor.
It was higher brow.
Yeah. But then they just realized there was more money in making it for kids. Yeah. Not just money, but popularity. It wasn't going to make it anywhere if they did it just for adults. But for kids, it could last forever.
Right.
So. And for me, it has. I mean, one of the most nostalgic moments for me, anything, is the beginning of the Muppet movie. Well, the kind of the second beginning. There's like the beginning when they're all like gathering at the Hollywood studios to watch the movie they just made, and then when the actual movie starts, there's just like a camera like on a plane like going through the clouds and floating around, and then it comes through the clouds and there's a swamp, and there's like a rainbow comes over the swamp, and then all of a sudden the banjo comes on and it's down from the Rainbow Connection. I mean, even like right now, just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. But it's like because that's one of the first like movies I remember. I was like maybe 4 or 5 when that came out, but I remember like because my dad ran a theater and the drive-in, and so I remember watching that shit like day after day after day, like at the drive-in and then at the theater, and so it's just like a really nostalgic moment. So I've always been a fan of the Muppets, but see, I've got some interest in it, but that's the one thing that turned me off. I think if she wouldn't have been in it, I probably would have seen it already.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's in it is just kind of made me be like, I don't know. It's just, everything else I've ever seen with her in it's just garbage.
Yeah. She was in Bridesmaids, and everybody's like, man, Bridesmaids is so good. It's like Hangover with girls or whatever the fuck. It sucks though. It's stupid. It's fucking retarded. But I don't really like that kind of humor in general. Like that kind of I shat my pants, haha humor, or that stupid.
Yeah. So I wasn't a huge fan of Hangover.
Humor. Yeah, right. Like,
it had funny parts, but I wasn't.
I like Hangover 2 more than I like Hangover 1, and that's like the bad one.
I'm not even sure if I've seen Hangover 2.
Hangover 2 is just we don't give a fuck about making like a cohort we're just doing the first one again, except it's way more fucking graphic and fucked up. It's not even like funny really. It's
like
almost
Old
like
School
horrific.
is kind of like the same fucking movie.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a little better. And I'm not a huge Will Ferrell fan except for when he plays Alex Trebek.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah, pretty much the same because then he's not playing like a goofy dumbass, which I hate when he plays a goofy dumbass. When he's doing a character,
I can tolerate Step Brothers to a point.
When he does a character, I like it. Like when he's
Night
not
the
just
Roxbury's not
doing
bad.
his dumb shit because he's in what's it called? He's in this movie where basically his life is being written as a book by this lady. And her thing is that for all her books, she kills off her protagonists. And basically, everything she writes in her book, he does. And she can hear her narrating his life. And
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it, though. Yeah. It's like Mr.
I can't remember.
I can't remember these. Yeah, but...
it's a good flick.
Yeah, I've not seen that one. I mean, like I said, Step Brothers isn't bad.
Elf wasn't bad.
Elf? No.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Zoe Deschanel in it, so I'll watch it. But
my friend, I have a friend who's like, that's like her favorite movie ever. She plays it every fucking year on Christmas, and it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, that would, But, like, I can't stand Talladega Nights. I walked out on Anchorman.
I never saw Anchorman.
Just no reason to. Leighton, buddy of mine, said that he enjoyed.
I liked it with other guys, but I liked how he played off of Mark Wahlberg. That's a pretty good movie.
Other guys?
The
cop one.
Yeah.
You said Mark Wahlberg. I started thinking about the one with like both the kid's dad or stepdad or whatever.
No, I don't know.
Daddy's Home.
Oh, where they have like this weird two-father relationship.
Like, one of them's the real dad, and one of them's the stepdad.
Stepdad,
yeah. Mark Wahlberg's the real dad.
And then in Daddy's Home too, it's Mel Gibson and
fucking John Lithgow, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was talking about him earlier because we were talking. Was I talking?
Third Rock?
Well, I was talking about. I brought up Third Rock because I was trying to think of something else that he had been in, but the person I was talking to had never seen Third Rock. But I was trying to remember why I was talking about Lithgow in the first place, but I don't remember. But I like John. Oh, we were talking about. She said something about. I asked her what she was doing. She said she just got done watching that Discovery show, looking for Bigfoot or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine that Jake and I watched last night, they talked about searching for that show.
Search for Bigfoot.
And then I was talking about Harry and the Hendersons, which is a John Lithgow movie about them going camping, and they befriend a Bigfoot and bring him home.
Horrible movie.
Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah.
I saw it when I was a kid, so I enjoyed it then, and it was funny, but I've not seen it since then, really, so I don't know if it's... I remember a lot of people liked it, and it was a popular movie, but, Lithgow is a good actor, so, it's probably well done, at least, but it's got a good premise. Basically, the family goes, camping or something, and, the kids, get lost and, run into Bigfoot, and he saves them or whatever, and so they bring him home, and he lives with them, and so it's just all the hijinks and shit that happen with Bigfoot living in your house.
And then he finds a black monolith in the woods. And
no, they catch him. They catch him butt raping the mom, and
so they gotta put him down.
Yeah, they put him down.
They call in the cops, and they gotta fucking shoot him.
You know, they shave him down and find out it's their son.
It's their son the whole time.
Right, but no.
Their long lost son.
No, I remember it being good when I was a kid and liked it, and I remember, like I said, I remember it being popular. But yeah, I couldn't say if it's actually something I would consider a good movie at this point or not. So, so would you recommend Jim and Andy?
I would.
All right. Where'd you watch it?
Netflix.
So it's on Netflix. All right.
Yeah, I liked it. It was interesting to see Jim Carrey's kind of wilder side. Honestly, it kind of makes him seem a little nutty.
His wilder side. Have you ever?
You think Jim Carrey might be a little nutty?
Did you ever?
Okay, well.
Have you ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
You ever seen The Mask?
He said that he was in a really
bad place, dark place for that. I'm sure. That's a fucked up. It's a good movie, but it's fucking nuts.
Man, like every little quirky girl who thinks she's deep loves that movie, dude. It's
but like the thing about that, have you guys seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's
no interest.
Without getting too far in it. It's a love story, which for me kind of is, man. But
my love story has to have like action.
But the premise basically is that like in this world they live in. I mean, it's this world, but things are a little different. But they have the technology to like go into your brain and erase like just certain parts of your memory.
Yeah, I know that about it. Yeah.
And so basically, like what happens is, spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it.
How old is it?
It's 20 years old. So,
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind movie came out in like 2013, didn't it?
No. That was like early 2000, maybe late 90s.
I'm calling it right now, 2004.
But
2009. Remember 2009?
But basically,
I don't.
Okay.
2004.
2004.
So,
called it.
Yeah. So basically, him and this girl meet, and but he basically his girlfriend like leaves him and has him erased from her memory. Mm-hmm. And so he's like all freaking out about that and all depressed and shit. And then
doesn't he just have her erased from his memory?
And then he meets. So he goes and has her erased from his memory.
And then they keep meeting each other because they keep.
But something happens like when he's getting his shit erased. Like something partially goes wrong or something while he's in there. I don't remember exactly. And so like something like I can't remember exactly what goes wrong, but so something's not exactly right with him. But then they basically end up meeting each other again, and then finding out that they had both had each other erased already. But so it's like a little bit of a twist or whatever because you don't know. They don't like. They talk about it a little bit, but they don't give a lot of hints as that it's actually them or anything like that. But so it's a little bit of a twist. But if you pay attention, you figure it out before it's over. But yeah, it's decent flick. That's the only really movie that I've ever watched with Kate Winslet in it where I thought she was attractive.
I think Jim Carrey's like the king of like those weird introspective comedies.
Quirky
that are like,
shit, yeah.
Well, that have like this kind of like it looks at stuff like what is it where he's like the reality TV show star?
Truman Show.
Truman Show. And
he doesn't know he's a reality TV
Bruce
show
Almighty.
star.
Where it's like asking kind of like these weird questions that like they're funny, but they're also asking like real shit.
Yeah, when you got Eternal Sunshine, The Spotless Mind. Was it Me, Myself, and Irene? Where he plays somebody with split personality.
Which that one's a little wackier, but it's still.
Flick, yeah.
What's the one where they're like where him and that one chick gotta rob people? They start robbing people because
Phone with Dick and Jane.
Phone with Dick and Jane is another one of those movies. I love that
Mask.
fucking movie.
Mask.
I mentioned it earlier.
I like Mask.
When he
Liar.
My mommy says I look like a lion. Oh, sorry, not that Mask. Liar. The pen is blue. Yeah. The goddamn pen is blue.
Are you talking about Rocky Dennis?
Yeah, Rocky Dennis. My mom says I look like a lion. Oh, Rocky, what is this? Is that your face?
Yeah. Oh no. Family Guy.
Face only mom could love.
Right.
Oh man.
She's like, but this is too much.
Awful hot. It's awful hot in these rhinos. Get back to Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
You must be the Monopoly guy. Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a pool man.
Love Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, both of them. I mean, I remember exactly where I was, like when I saw the first Ace Ventura, like what theater I was at, because I was crying. I mean, it started at the very beginning when he's the UPS man. He's kicking that package down the street like it's a soccer ball. Sounds broken. More than likely, sir. But oh yeah,
Steals
great
the
flick.
fucking
Finkel.
Yeah.
Any more of that gum, Ace? That's none of your damn business, and I'll thank you to stay out of my personal affairs. Like the crying game.
Marino.
Yeah. Or at the very end when they're like, lover of all animals, Ace Ventura, and he's
like,
straddling the eagle, beating the shit out. You just cost me $10,000, Polly. Oh, good times.
Great movie.
The great ones. The second one's good too.
The second one is good.
Awful hot in these rhinos. Mommy, look.
That whole scene is so fucking horrific. Like, it's something I just never thought I'd ever fucking
take his
see
underwear off and rings it. Rings the sweat up.
It's like, what the fuck?
Because that tiny little fan stops working. Like, oh yeah, that's keeping you cool in there. But I think that's kind of part of the joke.
Yeah.
Is that. But, yeah, good stuff. And then it's in the bone. It's in the bone.
Yeah.
3 dark and 2 much. Yeah. Good Jim Carrey. I miss Jim. So I remember all the way back in Living Color, Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He was funny as shit back then.
Before then, when he was James Carrey.
That's when he was James Carrey. When he was still on that.
I remember him being in some sort of fucking like drama movie or
usually
some
people
shit.
go the other way around with it. I remember like one of his first movies that I remember him in was Once Bitten.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I can't remember. There's a couple different ones that I get confused. I think he's in Once Bitten where like a she devil or a she vampire like moves in next door and like he kind of falls for her. She like charms him or whatever. And like bites him and like he like starts to become a vampire, but like she doesn't like finish the job or whatever before they like figure, because he's got like a girlfriend I think, so she's trying to like turn him back. And,
he fell in love with her, but he's got a girlfriend. Well, I guess
she charms him or something. She like uses like her vampiric ways or whatever. But
her feminine wiles.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. I remember I enjoyed it too, but there's another one. I think it's called My Best Friend's a Vampire. Is the name of that one, but it's actually oh shit, he's on one of the hospital shows now. I can't remember what, but the main character from that one. But it's all, they're both like maybe late 80s flicks maybe. It might be 90s. Or the Once Bitten might be, but not. Pretty sure My Best Friend's a Vampire is 80s. So what else we got going on? Once Bitten was 85. Yeah, so any other? What movie you watched? The Marvel Gods and Monsters.
DC Gods and Monsters.
DC Gods and Monsters.
Yeah. Justice League Gods and Monsters. Yeah. But I mean, that's not the first time we watched it. We watched it before.
We had.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that one. Well, I think no idea, because I even said I remember part of the Batman thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I may have fallen asleep. Yeah, that guy. Recognize him?
Oh, he's on House.
House, yeah.
He
was the main character.
He was his best friend. He was like the guy who was like just as good as House, but because House was a huge asshole, everybody paid more attention to him.
Yeah, that one was 87, and the Jim Carrey one, I guess, said was 88. So, but both pretty decent flicks.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the Gods and Monsters. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it seemed kind of pointless.
It's very weird. Yeah, there was
because it's not like part of the actual DC universe anyway. It's just like somebody's like, well, what would happen if
a big thing with like superhero stuff now is like, well, what would happen if it went like this? You know, like alternate universes and shit. So really, there's never a point. It's just like, what if it was like this instead of it was like the original? You know, like because like there's also in Superman Red Son. Superman doesn't land in Kansas; he lands in communist Russia, and it's like how the world is different from there, you know. So, and really, there's no point to it other than to say, you know, it's just to tell an interesting story, you know. So, it's really just to tell a story.
Fair enough. I like it.
But I mean, it's cool. Like it's a very interesting take on the Justice League. At the very least, the Trinity, you know, Batman.
Have you seen this, Fish?
Nope.
No.
It's Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And Superman is the child of his original mother, but instead of Jor-El, he's the son of Zod. Because Zod like stops him right before they like, because in this show, he's not been born yet. He's still like a fetus or whatever. And so like she puts her DNA in, and before Jor-El can put his DNA in, Zod and his boys show up and stop him, and then so Zod puts his DNA in instead.
He like shoots off Jor-El's finger.
Right. And so like he ends up like he's not evil, but he's like got dark hair and a goatee, and but he like kills people. Yeah. And he's more like
he's
just,
much more brutal.
Yeah, he's more just like, I'm gonna get the job done. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman is like, I don't know. She's just like Wonder Woman with a different costume.
Wonder Woman in this is she is one of the new gods. She is the daughter of Allfather. She was marrying Orion, the son of Darkseid, as part of a treaty.
And they whacked him.
Allfather stabs Darkseid in the back in a weird twist, and he kills and assassinains Darkseid's entire family.
Yeah.
And at first
it seems like shenanigans, but
what do you mean?
I mean, would he be able to do that too? I mean, I guess he is Allfather. So.
Yeah, I mean, if he blindsides him,
is he like the DC version of Odin?
Allfather, he makes Odin look like a bitch because, like Odin and Zeus and all those losers, they're the old gods. They suck. Nobody gives a fuck about them. The new gods are the shit now. They're like
they're the ones came up with new math.
I mean, they came up with new everything. So probably, if it has new in front of it, they probably had some hand in it.
What new edition?
Yep. The gods on their planet, new edition.
But so yeah, and then Batman is actually a vampire.
Yes.
But he's only like part vampire or something because he goes out in the daytime and shit.
He is instead of Bruce Wayne.
He's not Bruce Wayne here.
He's not Bruce Wayne. He is Kirk Langstrom, who was who's Man-Bat in the original, or at least in the original series and all that shit. He's the giant mutant bat that I'm sure you've seen in all the DC lore that you've seen.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Giant Man-Bat.
Yeah.
Couldn't miss him.
But yeah, so not bad.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable.
Lex Luthor was a good guy.
That's right.
It was cool.
And like a paraplegic or some shit.
Yeah. He had some weird ass disease.
He was like,
was never explained.
Fucking Stephen Hawking, but could talk.
He was mega smart.
Hawking.
Ain't shit now.
No.
Still kind of like a Professor X.
So he's still
exactly
probably,
Professor
still
X
probably smarter than I am.
Yeah, his bones.
Yeah. Professor X without bones.
Bone sex.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Professor X.
Any other movies? Anybody watch anything else this week? Anybody watch any TV?
I don't really watch any TV.
So I thought about watching Donnie Darko, like I said.
I remember not liking that movie when I first watched it. So
that's what I told him. Is I saw it like when it first came out, but I don't remember anything about it, which is not a good sign.
Right? Yeah. I must have purged it from my mind. But I mean, if you do watch it, you gotta make sure you watch the sequel too, or the prequel, whichever one it is.
If you're gonna watch the Donnie movie, watch Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
It's not a lot better, but it's not bad.
Watch Michael, Leo, Raph, and Donnie.
Yeah, I'd
take
watch
on
that
bad
way
guys
first.
in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right. Been thinking about Turner and Hooch.
Good flick. Old flick, but good.
Wait. Is that a
Tom Hanks.
Movie?
Tom
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks. It is.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn is like the poor man's Tom
That
Hanks.
freaking dog is
kinda.
massive. That's
It's a Mastiff, I think.
French Mastiff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dogue de Bordeaux.
Whatever.
Doge.
That's what it's called. It's called like a.
It's called a Doge.
Your mom.
Something like that.
Doge.
Doge.
Wow. Much detective.
Wow, yeah.
So,
much Vince Vaughn.
something else we did watch this. We did watch this week. I guess we could put it kind of along the lines of TV since it was actually a video. But Deshaun and I watched the. I guess it was this past week, the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And we both found it pretty entertaining how everybody's freaking out about the whole marijuana thing.
Yeah.
Because what's funny about it is that Joe, it's in California, so it's legal. And Joe lights up what I guess we would call, I don't know if it's a spliff or a blunt. So he calls it, he just says it's tobacco and marijuana. So I don't know if he means because he sometimes says tobacco and marijuana. So he sometimes says tobacco
It's
wrapped in
definitely a
or he
blunt.
says tobacco or marijuana wrapped in tobacco.
It's definitely a blunt from how it was made from. It's like you have the tobacco on the outside, just the weed on the inside.
But it also looked like it was.
Plus, I saw people even online complaining about that. Like, how the fuck do these journalists not know that it's called a blunt? You know, so.
But anyway, so he lights it up, hits it for a minute, and then hands it to Elon, and he looks at it and it's like makes the comment that he probably can't smoke it because of his.
You can't
like,
just not
because of his board members or whatever, and he's like, it's legal, right? So he hands it to him, and he literally takes like a half a second hit. And immediately blows the smoke out. He hits it like a cigar, and doesn't inhale. If he inhaled it, it was barely. And if he did inhale it, there wasn't much to inhale, and he held it in for, like I said, maybe a second. But
it wasn't even a real hit.
And so some people's point is that, and I get it. That's not going to stay there. Put it back. Yeah. Some people's point is that, people that work for him, like for Tesla and stuff like that, if they were to test positive for marijuana, they'd lose their job.
They'd be fired, yeah.
Right, and so I can see their point with that.
Which, I mean, but Elon Musk can just be like, well, then we'll just get rid of that rule then.
Right.
It's fucking Elon Musk. It's just
yeah, I mean, so who says he wouldn't? Yeah. But at the same time, I think it's funny that even regardless of that, just how much people are freaking out about this and talking about how one of the articles I read talking about how he had just said that he wasn't into marijuana because it was bad for productivity. Yeah. Well, guess what? He was on the Joe Rogan show. He wasn't trying to be productive.
Yeah.
I guess if it's something that's an everyday thing and non-stop, and you do that instead of going to work and shit like that.
What? Elon Musk being a little less productive is still about 100 times more productive than most
anybody else on the planet. Yeah. So. But
still a billionaire.
And shit, I know somebody that's, and everybody knows there are benefits to it. Regardless of what anybody says. Sure, there are negatives as well, but to some. But I know people that are in like the nursing business and stuff like that, and that run things like that, and basically say that to them marijuana is almost a necessity.
Yeah. Because
the nurses they work with are typically ER nurses, and they're traveling nurses, so they're in ER and or trauma nurses, stuff like that, and so they see the worst of everything. And he's like, the person I know will always just tell me, they need something to calm their nerves. When they get off work, because they're just so edgy and they've seen so much shit, and and most other things won't do it. Alcohol can, but there are crazy negatives to that. Any way you look at it, whether it's health or mentally, so
you can't really get too much into
and so something. I guess what point I'm getting at is somebody like Elon Musk that says his brain never shuts off.
Yeah.
It's like something like that might actually be of a benefit to him, because maybe it would actually be something that would let him relax every once in a while. But but then again, like he said, he would probably consider that counterproductive.
Right.
So, but like I said, I just find it funny how much people are freaking out about it.
Well, it's like one day they're feeling bad for people who do drugs or whatever the fuck, or they're trying to be sympathetic, or they're saying legalize all drugs, but then as soon as somebody they don't like starts doing it, and that's like all the dirt they can really get on them, besides some shit they make.
Well, everything you need to really know about marijuana is right there on that same podcast. Joe Rogan is like a crazy health nut.
Yeah.
The dude's like one of the healthiest people on the planet, and he smokes weed like it's going out of style. Yeah. He says it right there on the show. And he smokes the good, strong shit. And so it's like, if he is what he is health-wise and he's okay with it, I can't see how, other than like the tobacco part, it can really be that bad for you. So, like Cat Williams said, hungry, happy, sleepy. Yeah. I know at work, when I work at a place that has, a lot of, the public come to it, and I can tell you right now, 100 times out of 100, I'd rather deal with a group of high people than a group of drunk people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the high people, all they do is buy more shit and giggle.
Yeah, they pretty just mind
the drunk
business.
People break shit, they throw up, they get belligerent.
Stuff. Yep, they try to fight.
they fuck up everybody else's shit. And so it's like, I don't, I'd much rather deal with that crowd, but, I just, I wanted to bring that up. I know that, Deshaun's thoughts were along the same lines as mine. I don't know what else he saw about it, but I read a couple of different articles, and every single one of them just kept bringing up.
I mean, the other stuff I saw was just dumb shit where they're nitpicking like his specific ideas.
Don't talk about the fact that the guy literally thinks we can have a Star Wars or Star Trek type civilization where everybody just works for the benefit of everybody else.
I was reading some stuff where like people kind of just totally were
where everybody
the opposite. They're saying
they're living on starships.
They're saying he was saying like the opposite of what he was actually saying. Like he was being fatalistic and that is the end of the world because and like we remember when he was talking about AI and how he was like we need to stop and think about it and slow down. People weren't listening to him. People were saying he was being fatalistic about AI and shit like that, and I could kind of see what he was talking about where people were just ignoring his warnings and shit. So
but I just think it's funny nobody brought that shit up because that's pretty fantastical.
Yeah,
and it's like nobody's worried about that, but he took the world's tiniest puff off of a blunt and all of a sudden he's the devil. But anyway, that's my soapbox for the day, I suppose. What else we got going on? Anybody else have anything else on the agenda today?
Well, also on the Joe Rogan podcast, I watched something. I watched Nick Yaris.
I know that name.
He was so he is. I can't remember the name of the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he was like he basically spent 22 years on death row for a crime he did not commit for rape and murder, and he was already in trouble for some other stuff.
I think if that happens to you when you get out, you should be allowed to go ahead and rape and murder somebody
just once.
Well, I mean, you've already done the time for it, so you might as well get to do the crime you did in the first time.
Credit.
Or he only did 22 years. Yeah. He doesn't get to rape and murder somebody because he'd be in jail longer than that. But what's like an equal crime? He can rob a bank because that'd be like 20 years,
or
right?
They could just give him like $500,000 or some shit, or give him a couple $1 million.
No, but actually let him rob the bank. Just set it up and have him go in. And
just walk in.
And just give him the money. I let him get away with it, basically.
Thank you, officer.
Right.
Gets a ride home.
I mean, something. I mean, that's bullshit, dude. I mean, you should get something for that.
Well, not even that, but he's if you listen to him tell the story, he hasn't even. I think it's been 14 years even since then, since he's gotten out, and he hasn't had anything good happen to him since it started because he can't even he's had people rip him off. He can't get into Canada because it was passed even before.
So that shit wasn't expunged from his record.
That was, but during the process of that, he was being transferred to a prison, and they stopped, and he had to go to the bathroom, and there's a little urinal or whatever, not urinal, but the outhouse, not outhouse,
porta potty.
Porta potty. I guess they were porta potties or whatever, and they were using them. They're I guess big ones or whatever. So he comes out of it, and it's multiple cops transporting him. He comes out of it, the other cop does not, and the cop that's outside just sees him, and he starts freaking out, and he thinks he's trying to escape because he doesn't see his partner come out, so he shoots at him, and, that, the entire shit that happens from there is basically added onto his record, because he basically tried to escape, because he tried to steal a car, he tried to do a bunch of shit just so he can escape, because he even gets out. I think he even gets a boat and shit, and he gets out to the middle of where the fuck was he? I think he said he was in Philadelphia. I think he was in Philly. So he gets out to the middle of the lake somewhere or whatever, and he was gonna kill himself. He was gonna slit his wrists, and he was gonna pop the raft he was in, and he was just gonna let himself sink to the bottom and die. But then he turned around, went back, and he was just gonna serve out the rest of his sentence. But basically, he says that when he went back, he spent so much time on death row. He just read all these books and just taught himself shit. And he taught himself how to speak and how to read, really. And he taught himself a whole bunch of he expanded his vocabulary basically, and he changed his whole life. And he goes on to talk about how he learned about neuroplasticity, where plasticity healing, which basically means he's just as polite as possible to everyone, and he heals his brain from all the damage that they did to him. Because we talked about what they did to him, like these prisons that he's been in. Like they would do fucked up, horrible shit. Like they would force him to fight other prisoners. They would like fucking come in and just beat his face in until all his teeth were gone. Jeez. He said he had been like raped 4 times by other men. He said he had been stabbed like twice, like all kinds of shit, all kinds of fucked up, horrible shit. You know, and even since he's been like ripped off by movie directors and like a billionaire ripped him off, and what else? I think like his daughter, like his baby daughter, died from SIDS. So then like people were saying that it was his fault. And people were insinuating that he did it because he had this murder rape on his record. So they were like, "Oh, it's probably him." You know, he's got like multiple women who hate him and are trying to ruin his life. He's got an active stalker. He basically said he had like when he's talking to Joe, he said he had nothing. The shirt he was wearing was he was wearing it because he had somebody sponsor him so he could even fly out there. Like he had to borrow money to even fly out to do the Joe Rogan podcast. His entire life was like you tell him if you listen to him tell a story, it's like, man, he's been through like the shit, like the worst things that you can ever do to a human being. He's been through, but he's like come through it. He even says like, I don't give a shit about all that. Like that's the past. I'm just here to help people now.
I still think it's shenanigans that he doesn't get any kind of compensation for the 22 years he was in there for nothing.
Well, apparently they also put him in like a psych ward. So they could keep like control of him until like the entire process was done, you know, for him to get out and everything. So, but he was exonerated by DNA evidence. Yeah. So, but only that also took forever because apparently, multiple times they tried to get different pieces of evidence to get checked. Strange things would happen to him, like the DNA would disappear, or they'd fall off the trucks and shit. So
I read an article today about some dude that was had been in prison and was getting out because he had been falsely accused of rape sexual misconduct with like a minor or something like that. But I guess it was rape because she said that he shot her dog and then raped her, and then like they reopened the case or whatever, and then actually found the dog, and she had like gave it away. Oh wow! And then like when they tried to go talk to her about it, she just like when she saw him, she's like ran.
Oh well, there you go.
Shit like that, but
only the guilty run.
Yeah, but
look at OJ.
Right, yeah. I mean, was he really running, or was he kind of?
He could have ran faster.
Than he was driving.
He wasn't driving.
In his Bronco, his white Bronco.
He wasn't driving. He wasn't driving. It was that other dude. They played football with him. What the fuck was that dude's name?
O.J. Simpson.
Nope. Hang on.
OJ was driving.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
Or was it somebody else's truck?
It was. I know it was a white Bronco, and he was driving.
I know for a fact he was driving.
Yeah. I thought the other dude was driving.
What dude?
Maybe it was just the. Maybe it was a buddy of his. But maybe it was. Al Cowlings.
Who is that?
Yeah. Cowlings is most famous for his role in the capture of close friend O.J. Simpson after a low-speed chase by police on Los Angeles Freeway connection to the homicide of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Goldman.
So was he driving?
You can see pictures of him. Just Google O.J. Simpson car chase photo. You'll see him driving. You can see him. It's like a front view.
Mm-hmm. He's most famous for his role in the capture of close friend. I think it was like. I thought it was like maybe it was his Bronco or something like that.
I should buy a white Ford Bronco. Nice. I wonder if I picked up on the mic. Probably not. Maybe. I'll find out later.
White Ford Bronco?
Yeah. Just splatter blood all over the side.
Yeah, that'll happen when you hit pedestrians.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh my god. We're changing this podcast to the official We Are Fucked podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Later that day, witnesses reported seeing Simpson riding in a white Ford Bronco, a vehicle owned and being driven by Cowlings, thus becoming the object of a low-speed chase by police cruisers on freeways.
So he was driving.
So yeah, he was the one who was driving. I thought somebody else was driving.
But if he was helping the police capture him, why were they on a low-speed chase?
I think that's kind of how they. Maybe that's. I didn't read the rest of it. That's probably what they're talking about. Is like instead of being in a high-speed chase, he just drove and probably tried to talk OJ into turning himself in. I don't know. Who cares?
Well, why didn't you just drive your bitch ass to the police station?
Well, the thing is, he was supposed to show up and turn himself in, and he didn't show up, and so they went after him, and that's when he ran.
So when when OJ gets in your car and you're trying to turn him in, you get on the highway. You don't just go to the police station.
Dude.
I'm just saying, like
the glove didn't fit, so they had to quit.
That's right.
It's the Chewbacca defense,
right? If Chewbacca doesn't make sense, you must have quit. So I'm trying to think of anything else I watched this week other than just wrestling, which you guys aren't really that into. So
I watched the DC Universe fall apart even more.
Oh, how is that? Which one?
Henry Cavill will do playing Superman. Probably out as Superman.
Why is that?
They probably because they couldn't work out a deal for him to do a cameo in the Shazam movie, and there was some other report from THR that basically just said they couldn't come to terms on stuff that they were playing. But WB and Henry Cavill have come out and they haven't been too clear about whether or not he's really staying. It seems like there are still negotiations going on, but they were like, no decisions have been made. But this is all the same shit they said when like the Ben Affleck rumor started.
Oh yeah.
When it was rumored that he was going to be leaving, and now look, he's fucking gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
So.
Well, that would suck.
And he went from fucking writing, producing, and starring in the movie to.
Well, the problem is
writing, directing, and being in the the movie.
No fault to Henry Cavill, but most of the movies have sucked.
Yeah.
They haven't made any money, so they probably can't afford to pay him.
Right.
He's like, well, screw you. I'll go be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. And what's fucked up is like Henry Cavill really wanted to be Superman. Ben Affleck really wanted to be Batman. Like they had two guys who really wanted to be the pillars of their universe. Who really loved these characters. One of them was going to do most of the fucking work for WB in DC, but they couldn't keep him, so.
Henry Cavill also auditioned for Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Before he auditioned for it when Daniel Craig got it, so who's to say he might not again since Idris Elba's not going to be it.
He's just like, no, I don't want to do it.
They're like, nope, no black
Especially
Bond.
after the Mission Impossible movie. Apparently he was really good in that, so. Maybe
I've liked him in everything I've seen him in. I haven't seen him in a lot,
actor.
but I read a story about him being a dog lover one time, so I like that too. So
yeah, a lot of potential. Like I really wanted to see him in a good Superman movie, but I'm not gonna get that now. John Hamm, I want John Hamm to be the next Superman, but they're also saying Michael B. Jordan was in talks with DC to be the next Superman.
No black Bond, no black Superman.
Well, there is a black Superman in the comic books. His name is Val Zod. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What? Val Zod.
Yeah, he's from Earthsea.
Any relation to General Zod?
There is some relation.
They're just running out of ideas.
He's like an adopted kid. Comic books running out of ideas like in the 90s, dude. Comic books are fucking sapped. No, because the 90s is when the crash happened. The comic book crash happened when they really ran out of all their ideas. But I mean, there's been good ones. There's been some really good ones since then. The best stuff you'll find is like in like the third party stuff. So like Image puts out some of the best comic books right now. Dark Horse, which is still like a DC imprint, but there's still better books on that than there are on anything else.
See, the whole Infinity Wars thing seems like, to me, like comic book world running out of ideas. It's like, well, you know what? We can't think of anything else, so let's just kill everybody and start over.
Well, the whole thing is like they blew their load pretty early with some of the cosmic stuff where they're like, let's fight this guy who can warp our entire reality at will. So now, these days, they're doing shit like we're fighting people who exist outside all realities. Like, it's no longer just our reality we're worried about. Now we're worried about other realities, and we're also worried about these super beings outside of our reality that create our realities. And it's like just this big fucking complicated jumbled mess that it really doesn't need to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of the reasons I never really got into comic books because every time I think about one, people are like, well, yeah, you can do it, but you're like 1,000 episodes or 1,000 issues behind.
You're really just better off reading specific runs than you are trying to catch up on all the stories, you know.
I still need to run down to Collector's Paradise and check on that Dark Arc thing.
Yeah, Dark Arc is really good. It's pretty weird too. It's starting like I think it's on like issue.
What?
Okay. I think it's on like issue 11 now. It's really starting to like open up. Like you're really starting to see like the mythology in this thing it's now stretching to deeper parts of like I guess Jewish Christian lore, where it's got creatures in there. It's also got like weird eldritch like what's his name? What's his name? Not H.R. Geiger. H.P. Lovecraft. It's going to like Lovecraftian monsters and shit like that. It's weird, but it's good though. It's well written.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm interested to give it a shot, but I'm hoping to be able to get each issue of it, or at least like the
collected
whatever. Yeah,
paperback.
I can't remember what he called it.
The trade.
Yeah, the trade.
Yeah.
I'm not knowledgeable in that type of stuff, so I don't remember. You remember what he called it? Yeah, he said
I just get all my stuff online. That way I don't have to worry about keeping up with it. It's all there, and I don't gotta worry about going back later and buying the fucking collection.
Yeah, well, that's my thing. Is like that's why I want to start with something that's not got a lot of issues, so I can just buy all the ones that are already out and then just collect them as they go. But at the same time, it's like I've already got books everywhere. And it's like I may just rather like maybe just get them on my tablet and just have the collection on there or something.
Nowadays I only buy a trade if it's for like a specific storyline I really, really liked. You know, like All-Star Superman was a series of 12 issues that was just like the best Superman story ever written. So of course I got the trade for that. And then there's
like getting like the trade for like the Darth Vader series if there is one.
I'm not sure there's one. There probably is.
And they may just be like, nope, you got to buy all 20 issues or whatever it is.
But I mean, then again, that might buying. I don't know really, but the trades are fucking crazy expensive sometimes. Like they'll be like,
are they really?
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
He said the trade. He said it probably like $20 for that one if you had it.
Which one for
the Dark Arc?
Yeah, because that's not too many. That's not super long.
Yeah.
So it's.
I was a little surprised they already had a trade out. I mean, I figured like, you know, when they got to like 30 episodes or 30 issues, and maybe they would like put out the first 10. Yeah. But he's like, well, if there's 9 issues out, they may already have a trade.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, if you bought all like when the series is totally finished, if you bought like one trade that has all of it in there, it'll probably be like
expensive as hell. Yeah, I'm sure because twice as much. Mm-hmm. But
some stuff, like there's some that are like $50. But
that was my point. Is I just thought that I thought trades were more like because most of the like what I would call graphic novels I've read are a couple hundred pages.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking more along the lines of something like that as a trade. And so I'm like if it's got 50 issues in it, $40 or $50 isn't that bad because individually, even at like just if you bought them when they first came out, they're what, $4 a pop? $3 at least.
It depends on what you're getting. Some stuff's cheaper than others. But usually it's just because some stuff's just bigger.
But it's still like $3. I mean, it's like regular. Like it's still like $3 though, right? I mean, if I get one of the cheaper ones.
No, because there's some that are like $1. There's
really?
some like $1.25. Yeah, there's some cheap comics out there. So.
But because most of the ones that I've gotten recently, like the ones that I bought, were like $3 or $4 a piece. Yeah. Like the American Gods and.
Yeah, some of the stuff like something like American Gods. Yeah, because that's a little bit higher quality. Yeah. That's gonna be something. But like, yeah, like I know there were some Spider-Man issues I bought a few years ago. Some DC stuff that was only like $2, $2.50. Like so there's some cheap books out there.
Because most of the shit that I was looking at was like 3 or 4, but I think they were all more of the popular shit too, though. So, like the Star Wars stuff, Wars stuff,
like a Superman book, a Batman book,
whatever that one sci-fi one you told me about was, with the female antagonist. And 2 or 3 other people mentioned it to me as well. A really popular like sci-fi comic book.
Why the Last Man?
No, it was had a female lead. Main character.
I'm taking a look back in my mind. I feel like I remember what I was talking about, but no, I don't.
You mentioned it, and 2 or 3 other people I talked to mentioned it. I was at comic book stores, but
but
there was like it was already like 50 or 60 issues. It was already like 50 or 60 issues in.
She gets
so
her
I
hand cut
don't
off.
know,
I know what it is
didn't know
now.
how to start it, but
No, I can't remember what it is.
Fish, you like comic books?
Yeah, a little bit.
You have comic books?
I have a couple of old school ones, not many new ones. Actually, about a year ago when we went to that comic shop by your buddy's haircut place.
Oh yeah.
I bought a blank Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a comic book.
That's a coloring book.
No, it just has a blank front cover.
Oh yeah.
So the idea is to like take it to a convention and have like a artist like draw something on it.
Or you could just draw something on it.
Well, yeah, but
just take it and have him sign it or some shit.
yeah.
It
We
wouldn't be
also
so
have
bad.
like Stan Lee sign it.
Yeah, right.
For $100.
Right.
He's not doing cons anymore.
Yeah, he did his last one, and now he's
like,
fighting to get his money
he's
back.
like 94 or something crazy.
I can't believe he's still fucking alive.
Excelsior.
I don't know.
You know why he's alive? It's because he waits till other famous old people die and he absorbs their life energy.
Right.
That's surprising.
Because of all that pussy he gets.
Him and Betty White.
Because him and Jagger had a running contest, and last time he checked, he was way ahead. Yeah, well, I would be if I could be.
I think he's happily married unless she's dead already.
Oh, why is she? Well, I mean, his wife's probably 30 years younger than him, so probably not yet.
I mean, she'd still be old as fucking
Right.
dirt.
In her 60s. Yeah, so well, I think that's about all we got
Yeah.
for this one.
Thanks for tuning in to the High Caliber Podcast, episode 2. Yeah, we're still around.
We'll be back.
We'll definitely be back, so keep listening.
Peace.
Peace.